Thanks very much, Rob. Well, while Wozniacki prepares, we've been joined by a man who reached 4 Wimbledon semi-finals here, Tim Henman, and I tell you, he is such a busy man this year. We are so delighted to have you with us, Tim. I know you've had a busy morning already. Tell us what you've been up to.
Yeah, I've had a good morning. I started off on court 20, which is in the queue, which is HSBC's court. Brian O'Driscoll came and joined us, and we hit with some of the people in the queue. Then we moved inside the grounds, and we were on court 19 with the Road to Wimbledon kids. So, and Lindsay Davenport was on court as well. So Dan Bloxham, the head coach at Wimbledon, was putting us through our paces. So I've got to make sure that I don't start cramping in the commentary box this afternoon.
Well, talking of the commentary box, that's where a lot of our viewers will be used to seeing and hearing from you in your work with the BBC, but you're also so involved on the committee here now at the All England Club, and your role's changed slightly this year. Just talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's great. I've been on the committee, I think, for about 6 years now, and it's been really interesting learning curve for me to see how the tournament is run and to see everything that goes on the other 11 months of the year. So understanding the television rights and the debentures, the sponsorship, and so that's been great. But now I'm sort of a bit more involved in the tennis side. I sort of chair that part of the subcommittee, and that means I have to be a little bit more involved with order of play and any decisions with closing of the roof, and if that were to happen. So it's been great, but it's quite busy.
What's one of the trickiest decisions you've had to make so far? I guess obviously the roof hasn't been an issue. Have there been any order of plays?
Not really. I mean, it's they've got such an experienced team. Obviously, Anne Jones has been in that role for a long time, and she's been sort of guiding me through it. And Andrew Jarrett, the tournament referee. We have some of the supervisors as well. So just understanding how the order of play works. I mean, I understand it pretty well, having played for so long, but making sure you've got brackets in the right place. So you don't want someone playing first match in a bracket with the potential opponent perhaps playing third on another court, so you make sure they're linked up. But there's a lot of matches to take into consideration, because you've not only got the men's and ladies singles, you've got the doubles, you've got the mixed doubles, you've got the juniors coming in, you've got to look at the courts to make sure they're all wearing properly. So it's good. There's lots to take into consideration.
So would you have a look at what happened to Nick Kyrgios yesterday, for example, when he threw his racket into the court, and it unluckily bounced up over into the stands? So is that a situation where you took, because I was nearly confused as, is he really allowed to keep playing when you throw your racket into the stands?
I think he was a little bit fortunate. You know, obviously, and I can vouch, having unfortunately hit a ball girl a long time ago and got disqualified. So you've got to be careful out there. And he obviously wasn't expecting, you know, when he threw his racket for it to bounce like that. It obviously shows how hard the grass courts are. But he got a code violation. I'm sure he'll get fined for that. But you know, if it hits someone, I think someone in the crowd caught it. If it hit someone, then it could have been a different story.
And I just want to ask your thoughts on, we've seen a couple of times now when matches have had to be suspended due to darkness. Obviously, Heather Watson was one of them, and Marin Cilic and John Isner today tied at 10.
Do you want floodlights or?
Well, I'm wondering when you make the decision. So is it a joint decision between the committee and the players? Do you have a conversation on court? When do you decide to say that's it?
You know, the referee will normally be, you know, out at that stage, or a supervisor, and we'll be looking at the state of the match as well. Obviously, you want to play for as long as you can, but then you would ideally want to stop at the end of a set, or whether it's at a change of ends. It's just trying to manage a difficult situation, but we've been incredibly lucky with the weather. It's been absolutely fantastic. When we had those storms, it was at night, and all the heavy rain last night, so hopefully not too many interruptions.
What about the situation that suddenly Hawkeye doesn't work because it's too dark? I think that happened to Heather Watson against Caroline Garcia, and I don't know if that happened last night with Isner and Cilic, but is it then a choice? Can the players say, well, I don't want to play without Hawkeye, so then? That's
obviously a telltale sign, isn't it? And Hawkeye obviously requires the light to be good enough for it to function. When it isn't able to function, then there's normally only about 5 or 10 minutes more play anyway. Okay. So especially when you've got guys like Isner and Cilic who are hitting the ball so hard, serving so big, that is where I think Hawkeye is vital. So you know, if Hawkeye's not working, well, then there's not going to be much play after that.
Well, we're not going to let you. I'm going to ask another tough question, because in the commentary you're not going to get any tough questions. You're going to be tough on the players. What about a tiebreaker in the 5th set? Because you know it's going to come up again. Because Isner and Cilic, they could literally go on for another hour, 2 hours today, and it'd actually be surprising if it didn't go on for another hour.
I think it will be interesting to see how they are physically when they come on the court, because they played an epic match. they stopped at 10-all, and I've always been in favour of the long sets.
Yeah.
You know, I like to see one of the players earn it by breaking serve and serving it out, or winning by 2 clear games. I have to say that, you know, I like it when it's sort of, you know, 13-11 or maybe 15-13, but when it goes on and on and on. It was an amazing story we had just here on Court 18 with Isner and Mahou, where it went to 70-68. But I said to McEnroe last night on the highlight show that I said if they get to 70 games all in the 5th, then maybe I'll think about a
still a long way to
Wow.
go. Well, at least they have the middle Sunday off, so there will be no play for them tomorrow. Let's look ahead to some of today's tennis, Tim. And of course, Roger Federer, a man that you beat here back in 2001 in the quarterfinals, is taking on Sam Groth on centre court, the Australian big server. We're actually just going to reflect on this moment here. Do you like watching yourself back?
I like watching matches that I win.
Yeah.
That wasn't a bad shot. Yeah, it seems a long time ago. But I was certainly happy when Federer missed that volley on match point. But no, he's looked incredible. I commentated on his second round match against Querrey, and Querrey really started off the first 7 games was serving so big and was really letting everything fly from the baseline. And I thought, wow, this could be tricky. And in the space of about 15 minutes, suddenly it was a set and a break, and then Federer was just in overdrive. It was like he was playing an exhibition, just showing his full repertoire of shots. And for me, one of the important aspects as a 33-year-old as Federer is, you know, is to see him moving so well, and he looks and is feeling good. So for me, he's got a great chance in this tournament.
What do you think of it? Because Sam Groth is a serving volleyer. He's most probably going to serve volley on both serves, and you have done that against Federer, as we just saw. What is he like when you serve and volley to him?
I always felt it was a good tactic, but when we played in 2001, the courts were a lot faster. It was a different type of grass, and now when it's 100% ryegrass, the courts are a lot slower. So, you know, Federer has more time on those returns, and although Sam Groth is a huge server, I think Federer will like the target. He will like the shorter points, and I really don't see him having any problems today.
And I've got to talk to you about that match last night with Heather Watson and Serena. She came so close.
So close.
What a moment for her. I mean, what's your takeaway on what she should take away from that?
She'll take an enormous amount. I think right now, just, you know, 18 hours after, it's almost a little bit too raw still, and she's just massively disappointed with the loss. But she went, you know, toe to toe with a woman that's won 20 Grand Slam titles, perhaps the greatest player that's ever played the game, on the biggest court in tennis, and she's got so much courage, Heather. She's so tenacious, and she fought so hard, and those sort of 6 games at the end of the second set, beginning of the third set, were amazing, and you could tell by Serena's reaction on the court when she was playing. She was incredibly stressed. She knew she was in a serious battle, and you know, she had points for 4-love. She served for the match. It was just disappointing she couldn't find a way to get over the line.
And did you see what the hill looked like last night? Is it fair to say it with Heather's hill last night?
Heather's hill, yeah. I've always said this Murray Mound business is just rubbish, but if Heather had won that, absolutely it would have been Heather's hill.
Okay, so last night was Heather's hill, but we'll put it back to Heather. I want you to know that Matt always sticks up for you. Whenever we're debating it up here, he said, no, Andy's got the title.
What do you mean sticks up for me? I mean, there's only one name. You can't change. I mean, if anyone ever refers to it, they say the hill, don't they? So, I mean, therefore, that was originated as Henman Hill. You can't. Does anyone ever say, "Oh, we're going to go and sit on the mound"? No, it's just rubbish.
Okay, well, it is the hill, and it's still Henman's Hill. It was Heather's Hill for a little bit last night, but we'll stick with it for Tim's. Thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your day. I know it's a busy couple of weeks for you. Tim Henman with us in the Live at Wimbledon studio.